All right, so good morning and welcome back to Prince's It channel. This is a better update to especially for those that are being troubled concerning the trending issues yesterday. Today is the 13th of May 2025, and a lot of trending matters have been up between yesterday afternoon till night time, but this morning further clarifications are coming to them so that those who actually registered within that wing, they could have rest. It's important to be restful on what is yours or where you invested your fund. That's why everything possible is being done to ensure that you don't have a BP. God forbid. We want to look out for your well-being and so that you could be fine based on your investment. There's no point. It is so pointless that you have a lacuna or a high level of blood pressure on what you invested in. It's because you wanted to make your family better, your destiny fine. That's why you plunge in your fund to any form of a system that you believe or you feel could possibly work for you. So it is pointless to have a blood pressure rise on those things. So that's why we're trying to see everywhere where you could get respite and have peace of mind on your investment, both on UAAG, on Theobat, on Centrita, on the Supreme, and on the Pioneer slots inclusive, which is the latest. All right, so while I was calling out the people who fronted the particular initiative to come and try as much as possible to explain to the public, to get them along based on because we're talking of big money here. Whatever money was invested in all of this scheme, I think the Pioneer investment was humongous. The money invested there was really large because this was meant for not just for you, but for community development project. And you should know that it's something quite so large and bulk. So there should be some respite for them. So while I was trying to see how to get more information to this based on what was released yesterday from the Punch newspaper, I stumbled at this update, which expansively I'm going to profile that to us so that we could also get the gist behind it. And it's going to be classified under 5-point agenda. In other words, understanding the Pioneer project, the national database, and the legitimate subscription. Now, I understood through that development that there was a crucial stakeholders meeting that was held regarding the Pioneer project and the overall status of disbursement related to community-focused development initiatives. And the takeaways from that particular meeting, that every beneficiary and concerned individual should understand, remains this 5-point equality agenda, which I'm going to expatiate on them. Now, beginning first from Pioneer Project. What is the Pioneer Project? It is a groundbreaking initiative under the UAS, United African States framework that is designed to channel funds into grassroots development and also community-based projects across the country. It is important to also note that according to this submission, that 70% of the funds under this scheme are specifically meant for direct community impact, just like I said before. The fund, 70% of this fund is meant for community development to be impactful on the community. In other words, there must be not abstract now, but a concrete, substantial evidence of what you do with the fund, whether to sink a borehole in that community, street lights, or something community-based that you have to develop, and you have to have evidence concerning that. So 70% of this fund from the UAS, according to this submission, is meant for that. Then the remaining 30% is allocated to the grant administrators and the handlers, including the UAAG, and similar certified bodies responsible for facilitating, monitoring, and ensuring the the proper implementation of the grant process, which are in the likes of the Theobald, the Centrita Foundation, the Midwest, yes, is the same thing, then the Supreme, and other ones like that in the category. Okay, so that 30% was meant for that, 70% was meant for the community-based, the Pioneer Project, and all that. So, and the distribution ensures transparency, efficiency, and accountability in how the resources are being managed. That is the first bulleted point, which has to do with a pioneer definition and what each of the percentage of funds are actually meant for. Then secondly is understanding the national database, the nominal cluster, which is quite so important also. Now, a lot of people are a little bit confused about the terminology used on the national database, and that I'm going to put some level of clarifications into this right now. The nominal database has some segmentations. We have the CBN category, which is often mentioned by beneficiaries and is officially referred to as the nominal cluster in the national database disbursement or national disbursement database, or whichever way you want to call it. So the CBN category that is mentioned by beneficiaries is referred to the nominal cluster in the national disbursement database. Then this cluster also includes the verified individuals and groups who have been pre-qualified to receive funds through various national and international initiatives. Then, so if your name is under the nominal cluster, you are in a priority lane for approved financial support in that perspective. And then on the third point agenda, we talk about the decoding of the government slots and what is necessary for you to know in this perspective. Aside from the nominal clusters, other disbursement slots that falls under what is referred to as the coded government slots. I'm going to explain that. Aside the nominal cluster, there are other disbursement slots which falls under what is referred to as the coded government slots. Now, these are special allocations that is tied to internal government arrangements and high-level influence. They are legitimate, but they are not publicly listed, which is why many people are unaware of what they operate. And then the only individuals who registered under verified handlers or credible platforms are guaranteed a slot within these channels. I hope we understood that. All right, the fourth point agenda here under this explanation are the fake subscriptions that are circulating that trailed this particular organ, and that is one of the main reasons why the CBN was actually asked to step aside, and because a lot of scamming activities were going on that is almost like a distraction to the Apex Bank, and they had to just focus. A lot of people are using this to swindle a lot of individuals. So it's a warning to us that due to this anticipation and desperation that surrounds the grant we are in expectation of, these numerous fake subscriptions and handlers, they are emerging with different strategies. In fact, these entities, they prey, there's a way they prey systematically on unsuspecting individuals, and they demand money or personal details under false pretense. It's a criminal offense to obtain money under that false pretense by these unsuspecting individuals. They prey on people, prey on their intelligence, they play on their intelligence few more times, and before you know, they get money because they see that these people are so desperate. They just want to get money. So once they play on your intelligence and you fall for that, you're gone. So you have to be very, very vigilant. As a person, be vigilant, be prayerful. All the subscriptions according to the Pioneer slots or the CBN engagements said all of the subscriptions that are are from the rightful source, they are 100% legitimate, they are verifiable, and they are endorsed by authorized grant bodies. So always confirm the source before you submit your subscription to anybody. Before you confirm your information, they are correct, before you make any payment to anybody. If I were you, I think just rest on sending money to people at a time like this, if I were you. But if you say you want to, it's your money. Who am I? You're an adult. Who am I? You're an adult. You understand? So the last point here on the CADA is the major shift in power of the IMF that is now in charge of disbursement. The major shift in power of the IMF, who is now in charge of the disbursement, and this is one of the most important updates from our recent the recent meeting they claim to have. The Central Bank of Nigeria, which is the CBN, we learned is no longer in charge of that disbursement process, and that the IMF has now officially taken over all the aspects of the fund release and monitoring. According to this submission, what we understood was that IMF does not give funds to anybody. The function of IMF is just to supervise the dissemination of these funds to appropriate organ to ensure transparency and fairness. But with this information, we don't know yet, we have not really confirmed that yet, whether it is really particularly this one, whether it is legitimate that the CBN, for the sake of them, okay, let me just finish up that before I talk over that, that the International Monetary Fund has officially taken over all the aspects of the fund release and monitoring, and the CBN was asked by the presidency to step aside to avoid distractions from its primary role as the apex bank. So, and this change means that disbursement is now fully aligned with international standards, adding a new layer of credibility and oversight. So I don't know whether this actually in its sense is real, stepping aside the apex bank, which is the CBN, for the IMF to take over the disbursement of the funds. This will contravene the already information and the rule or the norms of the IMF itself. Does IMF disburse funds? Do they give people money? We know their functions. I've released a comprehensive update on what they do on this channel in time. You can do well to listen to it. So comprehensive and handy. You understand? So on a final note, we are close to victory. This update is not just an information that is released, it's a celebration of progress also. And the process has moved significantly forward, and we are already seeing results behind the scenes. So congratulations to all committed pioneers and genuine subscribers of the UAAG fund. We are there already. So I want you to stay informed, stay patient, stay vigilant, as the purpose of God for us will come to pass in the name of Jesus Christ. We love you and we want the best for you. It's only the best, your best, that we are in the interest of. That's why we give you regular updates as it comes. We try for you to know what is going on at a point in time. So subscribe to the channel for regular updates for yourself. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very lovely Tuesday ahead of you. And bye for now.